We need some more clarification on the whole HB 3115, and what I mean by clarification is it's interesting how other cities in our own state that are dealing with this bill are able to somehow manage, and some of them actually met this task, several years ago, where we are way behind the 8 ball, as we know. I'm so tired of hearing about, well, the injunction or the lawsuit, but yet other cities can mandate time, place, and manner in the sense that, so I'll use Ashland as a prime example. Ashland has a city camp, but the homeless can't show up until 7 p.m. and they must be out of there at 7 a.m. with all of their stuff. I don't understand why we can't do that, and so perhaps we can go back to the attorney that we're dealing with and the judge and ask them if there's any way that we can move forward with being using time, place, and manner and all the other word salads that they give us. Thank you.
We had a cleanup today, our first of 7 parks. Parks are for kids, and what we collected today, that small amount of aluminum foil about that big, a crack pipe that was our 4th one, I didn't get the right count, but 4th one we found that wasn't broken. They're always broken, but this is our 4th one in all our cleanups. We found a full crack pipe sitting out there, a couple of needles, lots of caps, but that little bit of foil will kill a kid. So we've got 6 more parks to go. We're going to squeeze them in once we get everything done here. And then I invite every person here to come on out and join us. It's very rewarding.
Pretty sure you're getting used to seeing me. I live right across the street from the camp, which is a result of some terrible decisions you made starting in January. You made those decisions to close those camps, defund Mint, and throw people out of the parks. And you had nothing in place for them to go. So now you're surprised, and now you're blaming it on the state. And that's offensive to me because instead of handling this in a mature fashion, you have a stopgap measure that's supposed to be temporary, and you are not managing it. Unmanaged is unacceptable. You are putting it on us to manage in our neighborhood. We have an increase in crime, noise, chaos. It's a shit show. I'm exhausted. There is a stench coming towards my house now when it's hot outside. There are people in those camps who can be helped. I would love to see them helped. There are also people who are career criminals. You can check the vibe. You can feel it. Sit on my porch. There's at least 20 people who walk by my house in an hour. And some of them look very sketchy and they don't belong there. Other people, they need help. You need to move it or manage it. There needs to be a plan to manage this. This is unacceptable and it is your fault. You did this. You manage it. You can't leave it the way it is. You can't put it on us. We have to call the police 5 or 6 times a day sometimes. I'm sick of it. I'm not gonna make it for the year it's gonna take you people to get it together. Now, some of you are incredibly intelligent and I really appreciate you. And some of you, I'm not so sure. So I'd like to see you rise. I'd like to see you grow in your perspectives. Whatever you came into the committee with, I'd like you to see you change and evolve so that you do a proactive solution that helps the most people possible. Like some heart-centered, Christ-like consciousness is real and helps people. Not this cruelty that you came in with thinking you were saving the day and you screwed up a lot of things and you're ruining my neighborhood. We cannot take it. Move it or manage it.
I live with her across from this tragedy. I hope you all had a really nice Memorial Day. We tried to sit on our porch Memorial Day and had to call the police 6 times for a public disturbance or outbursts. So I hope you enjoyed your barbecue or whatever you guys got to do, but that's our new life. We live next to what should, in any other circumstances, be labeled and treated as a nuisance property. It's a chronic nuisance property by your own municipal codes. You only need to have 3 violations in 90 days to be declared a nuisance property. This gets half a dozen a day. So it should be a nuisance property. I've asked a number of you why it's not considered that and why the city is immune from their own municipal codes. Any other property owner would be served papers, and if they didn't remediate the problem, it could be shuttered for 9 months. But because the city owns this lot, no one's gonna serve them papers, and you're immune from your own codes. So that's a very dangerous precedent in my mind. I've not gotten a satisfactory answer as to why that's not gonna be enforced. I'm not sure how comfortable any of you are with the city ignoring their own laws and codes. I mean, that is something that is pretty scary slippery slope for me. So it either needs to be declared a nuisance property, and then those complaints need to be fixed, or it needs to be managed in a way that it's not a nuisance property. You can't have it both ways. You can't immunize yourself from your own codes and leave this shit show in front of our house, okay? So it needs to be managed in some way. You have requirement in your grant proposal that is a managed site. Why isn't this one managed? Why was it put here unmanaged? We were told a couple months. Now we're looking at February, March minimum. It's going to be almost a year in our front yard unmanaged. It needs to be moved to a more secure location or managed in some way. You need to increase the city budget for this because it's going to require a lot more. And your calculations going forward on how much this grant should be based on 371 is not accurate because it needs to be managed. It's cost a whole lot more.
I go to Morrison Park every so often with my son. He likes to play basketball. We've not been there since he said, "Gee, Mom, that's the strongest cigarette I've ever smelled." Well, the other night, somebody, a man, I will not say gentleman, apparently OD'd in the men's bathroom in Morrison Park. His pants are at his ankles. We've got pictures. I'm sure you've all seen them. There were apparently 4 softball teams, baseball teams on the field. Now, if one of those young men had gone into that bathroom and went and told Dad, I don't think the cops would have been involved. This man supposedly was a sex offender. Now, you can't card him at the parks because that's not fair to them. If this person had 911 called on him, was Narcaned or whatever he was done, because then he gets up, he's okay, he's got his pants back up where they're supposed to be, and he goes over to Baker Park. If that person was a sex offender, why can't he get busted for ODing in the bathroom? I don't get this. If you can't card him in the parks, he's doing drugs in the park, he OD'd, he's supposedly a sex offender. I can't confirm or deny, I don't know if Chief can, but I'm sure it's not the first time. I'm sure it's not the second time. I don't know where the line can get drawn to protect our kids. This is unacceptable. As a parent, I don't get this. I know it's chaos right now. I know you guys are trying, but this person was put in the hands of medical, law enforcement, whatever. I think he should have been checked, and something should have been done. Thank you.
Thank you for you guys who's trying out here. I think you're all trying. And I think a lot of you are very decent people who want to do the right thing, very smart people too. I have a very small possibility here, but I think there might be something to it. I was driving by yesterday and I see these young men, able-bodied young men wandering around. They're perfectly able to do lots of things. Why can't they pick up after themselves? A pretty simple thing, right? There must be something in the law that you guys can do to make sure that people that are in these camps are cleaning up after themselves. And if they don't, I mean, you have certain rules, right? Basic rules. Every child knows that you're supposed to clean up after yourself. If you don't clean up after yourself, there should be some type of law that says, you guys can look into this, then you're out. Why are the Park Watch people, God bless these guys, and all the people that are helping out here, and you guys that want to do something, we hold ourselves to a high standard, but then we treat these other people like they're children. If we hold them to some kind of standard, we can do something, and if they don't perform, they are out. There must be a law to deal with this. Thank you.
I'm the program manager for the Balance of State Continuum of Care. We facilitate housing, domestic violence, and youth services for 26 rural counties in Oregon. Part of our job, I'm actually here with the entire program staff, and part of our job is to visit each county in the state and to meet with community partners, to take a pulse of the community, see what's going on, and report our findings back to OHCS and to the governor's office in order to advocate for activities that are happening in each region and county. I do have some positive news that may be helpful for some of the community members, and that is between 2024 and 2025, Josephine County did see a 43% decrease in unsheltered houselessness. We're actually seeing those numbers across the state because the state invested a large amount, that's unsheltered houselessness, across the entire county. The state invested funds through House Bill, through the EO funds, in order to add to an emergency shelter system throughout the state. And we are seeing great success with that, but we have only made very small strides in creating the very first step in handling the homeless crisis, which the first step in the continuum is street outreach and emergency shelter, because once we have people in emergency shelter, we can extend services to them. So here in Josephine County, you have a local planning group that if House Bill 3644 is passed, which it is in state legislature right now, you will see a statewide emergency shelter system that will allow funds to come into Josephine County to help assist with the housing crisis that is here. So I'm here to encourage that you collaborate with UCAN, which is the lead of your local planning group, and also to throw support behind the emergency shelter bill that's currently at state. Thank you.
I'm the director of Dove Ministries. For a number of years, Dove Ministries has been actively engaged in supporting the homeless community here in Grants Pass, witnessing firsthand the challenges faced by the unhoused. I agree these camps are unacceptable. We all see the growing number of unmanaged campsites throughout the city. These unmanaged encampments present significant concerns for public health, safety, and the overall well-being of both the citizens and those experiencing homelessness. Tonight, I want to specifically highlight the immense vulnerability faced by homeless women in these unmanaged settings. They are exposed to violence, exploitation, and all kinds of evil, and have limited access to privacy and dignity that is essential for their well-being. Dove Ministry proposes the establishment of a managed women-only campground. This would be a safe, secure, and supportive environment designed specifically to address the unique needs of homeless women in Grants Pass. Such a site would offer enhanced safety, dedicated supervised space, would significantly reduce the risk of violence and exploitation of women. Access to resources would serve as a central point to connect women with essential services, including hygiene facilities, mental health, substance abuse, and pathways to stable housing and employment. Providing a structured environment would offer a measure of dignity and privacy currently lacking in unmanaged camps. We recognize that housing and shelter would be the preferred way to address the homeless issue. But in the meantime, we believe this initiative would not only improve lives of vulnerable women, but also contribute to more organized and humane approach of homelessness in the city, reducing the negative impacts of dispersed unmanaged campsites. Dove Ministries is prepared to collaborate with community partners on this critical issue. Thank you.
You know, I met with some people in this room earlier this week, and I really appreciate that. And being able to kind of discuss their viewpoints. I like the term Christ-like conscience, and that really resonated with me, and I think that's true across the board. That's the way I look at it and all the decisions that we make. And that's how I, make my decisions. And so I think, all the chatter that's out there about what council's doing, there's a lot of it, right, from either side. We're trying to do what's best. Nobody's going to agree with it across the board. We have a forum Monday night, which I think will be good, next Monday night. So please attend that. Kind of get a little bit better idea of what we're trying to do. I meet with people all the time. I mean, this is basically all I talk about all day, every day, with anyone I meet. Doesn't matter if I go to my barber. It's the topic of the day. And so, there's people that want to, bus people out of town, which is, yeah, sure, that's I guess that's an option. I don't think it's a Christ-like option, in my opinion. And, on the flip side, there's also an extreme to it. So I come at it, from a realist perspective, and there's people that need help. And so I would like to say, as counselors, we're trying to do that the best that we can.
I agree. I mean, I commiserate. I'm in that neighborhood too. I'm not right across, but we are ignoring laws and codes and all over the place. I don't understand it either. But some we aren't ignoring, because I will just say that I got a few days ago a notice that the grass in my yard was too high. So some codes we are enforcing and others we aren't. I was angry about that, because you look out and see what's going on and then you think, wow, this seems very minor compared to that. So I don't know how that happens. I agree, we should know absolutely who is living in these sites, and I don't, we need to find a way to be able to know who is in there. Plus, we have over 40 nonprofits dealing with the homeless, and I'm sure they're doing good work and all that they can, but I just don't understand how they're not taking those good people that are in there that want help, why they're still in there after all this time, and why they haven't already received help. I really don't understand that. For the woman who was with the state, or, I mean, I don't know if you live here, but we have not seen a 40% decrease in homelessness. And if you lived here for the last 5 years, you would see our whole town destroyed by what the state is doing to us. I'm not blaming you, you're the messenger, but it's horrific. And hang around here, and these, I don't know if this is what you call an emergency site. It is not working. It's not working. It's bringing drugs and criminals into our town, and we're just waiting. Tragedies have already happened, but we're just waiting for an innocent person, honestly, to be killed. And then what? So it's unsafe for the people who are in there. Our small town does not have the resources or the money.
Counselor, I'd like us to try to
I'm sorry.
take a look at actually what we're saying with regards to our resting sites and the situation that we have at hand.
I'm just addressing what she said to us, and I don't mean to be, I'm a little passionate about it, so I don't mean to be mean or divisive in that way, but it's so close to our hearts about what's going on here.
There's opportunities to participate with other nonprofits and have that money be a facility that will be a managed campground that will make even more progress, hopefully, and treat people appropriately as Christ would have us treat them. And also, Christ had two things. One was love, and the other one was truth. And also tell the truth. So I would encourage people who are interested in helping, and America has a great tradition of that. You look at what PATH has done. You look at what some of the other nonprofits have done. You look at what people up here have done. And to do it in truth, not just love. Because if you just do it with love and not truth, it becomes unbalanced and hurts people. So we're on our journey. We've made some improvements. We're going to make more. And it's going to serve people even better and hopefully protect those that, all of us. And we're not there yet, including my house as well.
Yeah, I just want to express my concerns for our community and the people that are hurting here today, and those in our community that are being negatively affected by this. I did want to address an observation I have made, is that the 7th Street next to the police station is very empty. And it would seem to me that people that really wanted help would be close to the police station, because they would feel more protected or seen, or there'd be more observation. So that kind of puzzles me and begs the question, do people in these other sites not really want help that bad? I don't know, or don't feel as scared or intimidated, or why do they stay in those bigger camps? Anyway, that's just an observation I've been making. And maybe, Chief, you could address the issue with the nuisance regulations, just to clarify or speak to that?
Yeah, absolutely, Counselor. Thanks for the opportunity, because I hear everything that's said. And I'm going to start off by saying there's so much going on, there's an assumption that we're not doing our job. And I'm here to tell you that I would be remiss if I didn't share the amazing work the men and women of the police department do every single day, with every single nuisance to major felonies. We are overwhelmed, and we're so overwhelmed, we arrest people for something as simple as littering because of their footprint. So, sir, we do that all the time. And there are rules on the book that allow us to trespass that individual from the park, the resting site, whatever the case may be. It happens all the time. But there are so many people behaving poorly that you don't see that. So when I hear these comments that possibly the police department aren't doing enforcement, writing tickets, arresting people, that's not true. We arrest about 50 people per week. So just look at the Daily Courier, look at the stats that go out with the city managers weekly. Our folks are overwhelmed with what's going on here. And then we're asked to work robberies, homicides, aggravated assaults, and all the rest of it. I was recently looking in preparation for the June 30th workshop on levels of service. So I was just taking a look at what's going on in our community. So if you just consider Part 1 crimes being the most serious crimes, murder, rape, aggravated assault, burglary, arson, things like that, it's pretty high. It ranges between 2,700 to 3,000 per year. We only have allotted 57 cops in Grants Pass, and when you break it down to the amount of people that work between patrol, detectives, administration, running an organization with a $26.5 million budget, it's really busy, and I am so incredibly proud of the amount of work that they're doing. I am on our guys regularly, encouraging and being their cheerleader to get out there and work, and they're doing it. And I'm worried that they're gonna go elsewhere because the amount of work here is overwhelming. Also, too, we are a complaint-driven organization. So if somebody calls in and says, the grass is too high, there's a car parked outside, I see folks in the crowd that do this all the time. We respond, we take care of it in accordance with the law. I am always available to answer questions. Counselor, I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to speak. We're doing all we can.
Thank you, Chief. That was excellent. Really appreciate that. And thank you all for coming. I think the big picture here that we need to keep focus on is HB 3115. That's what's causing all of this to happen. The state never asked its citizens whether or not they could provide a definition for what objectively reasonable is, okay? We should have been, the citizens that are going through all this should have been afforded that opportunity. HB 3115 is ruining this city. We're seeing it. HB 3115 is forcing low barrier shelters on us and resting sites. HB 3115 is causing crime rates to rise. We all know that. We're seeing it. We're seeing pregnancies. We're seeing all kinds of rapes and violence. It's crazy. But why is that happening? HB 3115. This is something that was established prior to the Supreme Court case that Grants Pass won, in anticipation of us winning that court case. HB 3115 is consuming a lot of our police force, their time. It's forcing businesses to leave. It's forcing people to leave. It's forcing people to be pissed off at the city. The grants past taxpayers have had enough. And we see that. Because that's who's paying for all this. $400,000 minimum for these low barrier shelters that are forced on us by HB 3115. HB 3115 is anything but objectively reasonable, and I think we're all seeing that. It's not working for any city here in Oregon, and all the cities that are working, they're asking for more money. So, HB 3115, it needs to be addressed up at Salem, because until that gets addressed, we're forced to throw more money at it. Thank you all for coming. That's all I have.
Thank you, Eric. And I would also like to thank Chief and the amazing job that you do that goes unnoticed because of the huge issue that we have that was caused by the state of Oregon. And so I really appreciate, Ms. Matthews, I do appreciate you coming down and giving us the information that you did. We have a crisis here. We do not have reduced homelessness. Our city is in dire need of the state fixing House Bill 3115. If you have not emailed the state, it's out on social media. You can find it easily, or you can just go to the state legislature and you can email your state legislators to ask them. We have a few more days, and only a few more days. And apparently it looks like we have people waving information in to you. So there are people here who can help you with that. We can address the state to before the session ends, to pull our representative Dwayne Younker's bill back up to the floor to be voted on again. It needs to be repealed, and it needs to be replaced. It is hurting the citizens here, and it is hurting potentially every single city in the state. And so I do want to thank everyone who came here to speak. We at our workshop, some of you said that you don't know how, it was a very long workshop. And we are working through what very diligently, we are working through the solutions. And we want to make sure that our city is a safe place for everyone, and we are committed to continue to do that. So please do, though, help us by contacting the state. We really do need that assistance. Not us, I mean, our city really needs to, everyone, have your voice heard at the state legislature.